Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show, a discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Belew.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome into the All the Ball Sports Show for this Tuesday. It is May 1st. Happy May Day, guys.
Yep, soon be Cinco de Mayo.
Well, yeah. And then it'll be party time.
Party time.
Excellent. Hey, speaking of excellent, we have two special guests in here tonight who I'm very proud to say are be here shortly heading off to the National Football League. Guys, that's big. That's really, really big. And this guy sitting across from me over here, Dre, got the call yesterday morning about 8:45.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you said, man?
I was asleep. I honestly was knocked out. And my phone just ended up being by my face and it was vibrating. I just woke up. And then it was my agent calling me and he was like, "Oh, how you feel about going to the Carolina Panthers minicamp?" And I was like, I wanted to say the H word and yes with it. I was just like, yeah. I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, well, they'll call you shortly and talk about everything with you. So, just blessing.
Did you wake up quick after that?
Yeah, I woke up real quick. I ain't go back to sleep.
And then DeMontre Wade.
He got his call Saturday.
For Kansas City. And what was your response?
I was excited. I met with Kansas City Combine. I sat down with a lot of the whole coaching staff, watching film, stuff like that. So I knew the connection was there. As the draft was going on, my agent had called me and told me if things don't look good, how it's going. Kansas City, they're offering the most. And then from there, literally when the draft ended, I got the phone call from them and accepted that. But yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Hang on just a second. Yes, ma'am?
Truck keys.
Oh, okay. Truck keys. That is what's great about live shows here. All right. Here we go, dear. Truck keys. Thank you very much. All righty. Okay. Love you.
Don't try this at
home. We are professionals. That's what I said. This is a loose show at best. So we come in here and do this number. All right, guys. This is the dance. This is big time. We've gone through all the youth
Warners.
football, Pop Warners, and you've gone through middle school, and then you've gone through the high school years, and of course. You got a state championship ring from 2010. DeMontre did very, very well at Western Kentucky. Now, all of a sudden, guys, this is the
Murray State.
Murray State. I'm sorry. It was a Kentucky school. My fault.
He was a racer.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the big time. This is the dance. This is what you've been waiting for all your life. So how do you feel about that?
It's just a great opportunity. Growing up, it's what I dreamed of, and just to actually be going through it right now. It's a long process. You just got to enjoy every step of it. I'm looking forward to get down to Kansas City Friday.
And when do you go to minicamp?
I leave May the 10th, and I'm ready to just get out the cage. I've been locked in for 6 months. I'm ready to play ball.
Well, how's the hamstring?
It's good.
Good.
Yeah, it's
good.
back. It's back, ready to go, fired up. Yeah, I'm just ready to let it loose and play ball.
Show them what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all you want is that chance.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
That's all they're asking for is a shot.
Well, we're super proud of you guys. We're going to talk to y'all a little bit more here in a few minutes. But we have to turn it over to Ty Cobb. And then we'll get to Eric Belew. Well, Ty Cobb, who's the ultimate Predators fan. Now, Predators the other night did a good job, 5-4.
Did you watch that?
Yes, I did. I did. I watched it.
Impressive.
I watched it.
Double overtime, wasn't it?
Double overtime.
Yeah.
Several games in the playoffs have went double overtime this playoff season, but
Vegas
they had to be exhausted though.
Overtime, didn't
I
they?
think you're right. I know it went 2, but Vegas is a good team.
Well, they actually scored a goal in that Vegas did in that second overtime, but after they reviewed the film, they ruled that there was interference with the goalie, so they took the.
Been several goals called back in the playoffs. Pretty tight. I know it was several I saw where the replay and they didn't overturn them.
Yeah.
So how you feeling about tonight?
I think the Preds show up tonight. I do. I think they'll go ahead 2-1. I think that last game set the pace for the series. Win into overtime, because if you go down 0-2 after losing 2 home games in Bridgestone, you're in trouble. I don't care who you are. And for them to come back and win that in overtime, and it could have just easily went the other way.
Right.
I think tonight they show up. The thing that I've kind of been concerned about in the playoffs with the Preds from Series 1 with Colorado was they just never really showed up, in my opinion, and played their best hockey. These first 2 games, everybody's saying they played well. I think they didn't play to the level that they're capable of playing. But hockey, I didn't grow up watching hockey till the Preds came and never played it. But I think that this year they've got a very good shot. I think tonight's a critical game. So time will tell, but in hockey it can go either way, like in any sports. I mean, if you've got the luck on your side and you get the breaks and hit the shots, you can win. So,
well, now we got DeMontre going off to Kansas City. We've got Dre going off to Carolina, and we've got Eric now going off to Atlanta. He's taking a new teaching position down there.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just accepted a teaching and coaching job at Landmark Christian in Atlanta, which is southwest of Atlanta in Fairburn. It's really cool kind of how the opportunity came up. The guy that recruited Shaq at Georgia Tech came down to look at one of our.
And let me say this about Shaq. You guys do know that you have to buy him dinner when he comes back. I saw that
on Facebook.
Just saying. Just want to get that
well,
out there.
Actually, before I move on to that, that's a good point to bring up with the 3 from Columbia that are playing in the NFL. 1% of high school football players get a college football scholarship. Less than 1% of college football players make it to the next level, and that's any next level. And then I think it's 0.8 of college football players play in the NFL, and we've got 3 guys from Columbia in the past 3 years that are in the 1% of 1%, and I think that's very significant to be known. There's only, I think, 35,000 total in Columbia, and the fact that 3 people are in a category of 1% in anything is absolutely remarkable. And I just think that needs to be said. You are not – nobody is in the NFL at any point in time that doesn't deserve it. And I just think that's very, very important. And I'm thrilled to be able to – I got to play – started playing basketball with Dre when I was 7 and D-Wade when we were in Pop Warner, and to be able to see and develop relationships with guys like that and then see that happen from this place, it's big. But anyways, that's me getting into stats. But 'cause I'm obviously a stat guy. But yeah, it's a really good opportunity. I'm grateful for everything that happened at Lewis County, but I'm in a position where I can move up and see where my career ends up. But it's just a really, really good opportunity. I kind of having an opportunity to be a co-offensive coordinator as well, which is definitely my next goal. But I got a new head coach by the name of Joseph Scott, who won 2 national championships in college at Georgia Southern. Got our high school principal, Mike Badowski, played in the NFL and has a PhD. I think that's a very small statistic too. Somebody that played professional sports and have a PhD. But the community down there is great. We get an opportunity to be a part of something and rebuild, and it's just something I couldn't turn down. So, really good opportunity.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sir.
We're surrounded by greatness, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, now I got to ask you this, Dre. What'd your mama say?
Oh man, she was mad.
What did Angel say? Now?
She was really mad at first, cause I didn't tell her first.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
First person I told was the person sitting beside me. But
Yeah, but you guys had discussed this because from what I saw in Maurice's column, by the way, I've taken a lot of quotes from Maurice Patton's column from the Daily Herald. You guys have talked about this Saturday or Sunday.
yeah, we was with each other on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him first, then I told my mama. She was like, "So, you can't call me?" I was like, "I've been on the phone all day." She was like, "So I had to find out on Facebook." I was like, "I was finna call you, like, give me time." I was like, "Give me time," but she was excited though. She that's something that I feel like she been waiting on, all the stress gone and everything. Her, and then I called my daddy. He had no like emotion whatsoever. He just said, "All right." That's all he said. And I was like, "All right, I'll talk to you later," because he was at work. But yeah, she was excited about it after I told her.
Because how many miles you think she's logged over the last many years to watch you in almost every single game you played?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I know at work, I work with DeMontre's dad, Orlando, and I said, "All right, Orlando, where do you want him to go?" He said, "I don't care where he goes." He said, "I'm going to root for him wherever he goes." And of course, now he's a big Oakland Raiders fan, isn't he?
Cowboys.
Cowboys. All right. Well, his other friend up there,
Corey.
Yeah, Corey's a big Raiders fan. He been putting out that he wanted you to go to Raiders all that time. So, you know, but yeah, I know you're tickled to death, and Orlando, he's been walking around with his chest kind of stuck out a little bit. He's proud as a peacock, and so I told him, I said, "Well, they got good shots now. You know, let's keep positive thoughts going."
Calling your brothers at UNA, tell them.
I was up there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I had literally just went down there to get my clothes. But I told my mom, because I got out of church and I was like, I'm going to just stay down here and I'll come back Monday morning. She was like, okay. And then the call happened right there, and all of them was like they was getting ready to go to class, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm going to Carolina." They was like, "What?" Because I told them, like, I just walked in their room and was like, "I'm going to Carolina," shook their hand and walked out, and they was like, "Bro, like, you have no emotion. Like, are you not excited?" I was like, when have I ever just been just uppity excited about anything? They was like, "All right, I forgot. That's just how you are." I was like, yeah.
But inside.
Yeah, I was excited inside. I just didn't show it.
Just jumping up and down inside.
Yeah, I was up there with them when it happened, so they was excited for me and everything too.
He had that poker face going.
RD, when you got chosen, how did that feel for you?
I mean, I was excited. I mean, it was a lot of people over. At first I was in my room. I was just in my room talking to my agent, and it was just like, man, I'm just gonna make the decision. I'm just gonna fall with Kansas City. I mean, so I feel more comfortable with. Looking at the roster, I mean, I feel like I have a great shot to make the 53-man. Just not playing defense, but on special teams too. It's just surreal. It's hard to explain. It's surreal. I mean, it's just got that feeling in your stomach. Like I couldn't eat or nothing. It was just crazy. It was crazy.
At any time, did you just finally just got by yourself, went outside, and went, yes?
Nah, later that night though.
All right, Eric, how'd you feel when you knew that these two guys were going to the big dance?
Well, and when we talked about this last time, it was me and Dre. You know, it's something that I expected to happen for him, the work that he's put in, and I've been I try to keep up with all the people from this area, and I've kept up with D Wade, and you know, I was really, really impressed by, you know, your stat line. That was probably the most eye-opening thing to me. So I knew, I mean, just looking at that, you know, he's got to have an opportunity. And I don't want to say that I was very underwhelmed, but I mean that because I'm not surprised. I mean, they've put in the work, and I could always tell that athletically they were different than everybody else that was around. But there's a whole lot of people that are gifted athletically, but it depends on what you can do with it. The best thing I've ever heard somebody tell an athlete that's special said, you're special, but there's 1,000 of you. What are you going to do to separate yourself from those 1,000? And, that's what they've done. So that's, I couldn't be more proud to, be a small part of that.
What impresses me though is you started out as running back.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
And then you got into college, and they said, we're going to put you D-back. You went, huh? Or corner, And
Yeah.
It said, well, as long as I get on the field.
I think that's a good point, though. I think that's to be said, too, just about this culture here. In Columbia, we just play ball.
Yep.
You can't put a certain category on somebody. When I noticed that these two were really, really good was when we were in high school, when we were playing basketball in the back gym. And, they're jumping and dunking the ball, and their kneecaps are at my nose.
Well, Eric, white boys can't jump.
You're exactly right.
I got my 1-inch vertical leap, man. I'm happy. Well, let me give you your stat guy. Let me give you some stats here on D. Wade. At Murray State, Wade led the Ohio Valley Conference in interceptions last fall with 6 and ranked second nationally in interceptions per game at .6. He became the 8th racer to notch at least 6 pickoffs in a season and the first since 2004. He concluded his collegiate career as the school leader in passes defended at 45, pass breakups at 35, and his 10 career interceptions ranked 9th all time at Murray State. That's impressive.
That's some stats right there.
When you're on the field, what are you thinking? I'm going to get the ball.
Oh, yeah.
I want the ball.
I'm a
the
ball
ball
hog.
is mine.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
a ball hog.
Yeah. Anytime I know the ball coming my way in the air, it's one-on-one. Better man win. It's a man game. That's how it is.
And there is no better man on the field that day than you.
That day. Yeah. As long as I get my picks, it is what it is. Do what's best for my teammates.
Now I got to give Maurice Patton credit for the article I'm reading from the Daily Herald, because
he's coming tonight.
He's supposed to slide in here at some point. All right, now let me give you some stats on Dre Hall. Former Columbia Central standout receiver left North Alabama as the NCAA Division II program's all-time leader in receptions at 201, receiving yards at 3,144, and receiving touchdowns at 25, one of which came from Matthew Markham, by the way, his former quarterback at Columbia Central. He also set a record for 100-yard games with 11 and caught a pass in all 44 games in which appeared for the Lions. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And on game day, what is your thought?
I just want the ball in my hand.
But he's wanting to take it away from you.
Hey, we had talked about that for the longest. We wanted to have our battle one time, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened. It was supposed to happen one year.
Well, it might now.
Yeah, it might happen.
Ooh, that's true.
It might happen.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Never know.
That'll be some serious stuff right there now.
Will there be some trash talking going on?
I feel like it will be. It might be.
Just because we grew up with each other our whole lives, so
Yeah.
I know it'll be a little hostile.
Your dad said DeMondre and they just like it. But he said, when you see one, you see the other. So
yeah, that's how we've been our whole life, though. We honestly met each other playing basketball against some grown men. It was I want to say probably 25, and we beat them when we was only 5. And from there on, it's been bang. We together.
Well, I think to get a good perspective on those stats too, starting with Dre, 44 games, a catch in all 44 of them. When you're that type of athlete, it's impressive to realize that when you're game planning, you think we've got to find a way to get him the ball. And defenses know that, and their mindset is we've got to make sure that this guy doesn't get the ball. And he still did it 44 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then with D. Wade, he's getting all these interceptions. Offensively, you're thinking, we can't throw the ball over there. And he still gets 6 interceptions in a season. And people get all involved in stats, but stuff like that, I mean, you can't overlook. When teams are specifically scheming against you to make sure you don't succeed, and then you still do it at an extremely high level. I mean, it's really a no-brainer why they're still playing. So it's big.
Well, it was a joy to watch you two play for Columbia Central. Of course, I never got a chance much to see D. Wade play, but I can only imagine these two in a matchup. That would be sick. I'm telling you. Somebody would walk away. Since you can't have a tie, somebody's going to walk away a winner.
Somebody gonna have bragging rights.
Exactly.
To the next meeting.
Yeah.
To the next meeting.
Because I know if I lose, after the game, we gotta get some one-on-one.
And it's only once a year, he's going to be on you. You're going to have a whole year of that every time you see him.
It's gonna be something amazing.
Yeah.
But I know one thing, after the game, it'd be some jerseys exchanged, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cool.
No doubt.
Chip, you're sitting over pretty quiet. Jump in there, buddy.
Anyway, give us your background.
You're not turned on there, man.
You muted me a while ago.
Let me see it. Hang on a second. Oh, great Googa Mooga.
Chip, I think he set you up.
There you go. Nice one.
So he's got it. Give us your background, where you went to high school, and all for that. A lot of people be interested in.
I mean, I grew up in Columbia my whole life. Went to Riverside Elementary School. Went to Withorn Middle School. Freshman year, I moved to Nashville. Went to Brentwood Academy. Went there 4 years. Then went to Murray State. But I mean, I was down here a lot. Like games I could come to, I still supported Columbia. I mean, really, a lot of people don't know my freshman year, I really wanted to come back because, I mean, the relationships I had with friends, and then just, I mean, it was just hard just adjusting up there because I didn't really know nobody. But, I mean, it all worked out in my hands.
Hey, just think if he would have came back.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
We were really hoping, weren't we?
I tried hard. I was like, come on. Yeah. I was trying so hard. We think about it all the time. Like, just think if you would have just came back to Central. Just think if, like, nobody would have left. Like, all the talent.
And I didn't even think about that. Octavius
Mathers, all of them.
Yeah.
He's my age, and he's with the Jags.
He was with the Jags, yeah.
Yeah. Who was, I mean, played all kinds of games at Ole Miss, broke all kinds of records at MTSU. I mean, that's 4 in the 1% of 1% from the same area.
Yeah. Like,
it's unheard of.
If nobody ever, Brandon Taylor, like, if nobody ever would have left, we probably had about 5 state championships. I promise you. I promise you. Like, basketball included.
Yeah.
And track. Build more than 5 now.
But I think, going back to what I was saying before, and being a coach now, you kind of notice this. Teams in the high school level that are really good, they grew up, playing ball together when they were kids. And I think that's unfortunately what the upcoming generation is losing. They're not outside and just playing. I think a big part of where these guys are today, and Shaq and Octavius, is, we started playing ball at a young age. And same thing for y'all. I'm sure growing up, you'd get done with baseball or basketball practice, you'd go home and you'd probably be playing another sport in the yard. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes overlooked. As parents, you should be pushing your kid to be playing. Go out and play, and don't specialize. I think that's a big part of it too. Dre was a 3-sport athlete: football, basketball, and track. And then I know you ran track. Did you play basketball?
Yep.
I mean, that's a tri-sport athlete, and everybody's all about being football year-round or baseball year-round, and there's science behind it that proves that that's not true. That's specializing is negative on a kid's growth. So, I mean, and obviously Octavius and Shaq played basketball most of his life. So I think that should be said, too. A big reason why these guys are where they're at and why they're so athletic is because they played ball, you know.
Unfortunately, my parents told me to go play in the traffic.
That's brutal.
Dodge car. The one thing that I will point out, though, is there is no, and you guys get it, but there's no adrenaline rush for a spectator to be at the state championship in 2010 to watch this guy go up between two defenders who are on him big time. He goes up and snags a pass and comes down with it.
And it was tied.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's an adrenaline rush for not only the fan watching it, for us guys in the press box who are watching it, but I know for you guys out there, it's got to be. I mean, it's like a day's work though for you guys. But do you feel it before, during, or after the adrenaline rush on that?
Oh, probably after. Cause like when the ball in there, it's just like I'm going to get that. You're not getting it in front of me. I gotta get it. And I remember it though. That was the craziest thing I ever experienced.
Turn the game around.
Yeah,
craziest thing.
Sure did.
I mean, Brother Bob and I were down by ourselves on the far end where you were, and we're thinking this is fixing to be intercepted.
Well, by all rights, it should have been.
Yeah, it should have
Should
been. I feel like Markham just threw the ball, just threw it up for grabs. I was like, what are you doing?
Well, he knew who he was throwing to.
Yeah, that too.
2-on-1 isn't a disadvantage.
And he knew if somebody could save his tail, it was going to be Dre.
All right, now, D. Wade, let's put you in that same situation. Let's go to the state championship in 2010. If you were a defender defending him, would you have gotten the ball?
Most definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Well,
I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have gotten it.
But you've got the
what I'm saying?
mindset of that's your ball.
Yeah.
You're
most
going to go
definitely.
get it.
Yeah, I would have picked it off for sure.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, see, we would have.
Well,
Been,
See, that helps coming from the offensive side to start with.
Yeah.
That's your mentality. That's my ball. I'm going to get it.
It's the same thing on the other side too.
yeah.
You know. So he carried that with him on the defensive side, and by God, he went and got it.
Yeah, he did. He did. May 10th, you head off to minicamp. Where's minicamp going to be?
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. All right. Mom going with you?
No.
He said that
she
real
might,
quick.
She might drop me off at the airport.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about it.
Okay. And you go, D?
Friday. This
Friday?
coming up Friday.
Oh, okay. Okay. So going just a little bit sooner. And where are you going? Kansas City?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun what we do here. This is going to be our final show for the spring. We'll be back in September when football starts back up. That's our fun part. You guys won't be around. You guys hopefully are going to be practicing for.
Oh, yeah.
But hopefully it'll be playing.
Exactly. Well, by that time, yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Some preseason.
Yeah.
See what you're made of. I'll be so proud to hear the words, Dre Hall and
D Wade
and D Wade. Absolutely, that'll be a lot of fun, man. All right, Eric, how do you feel about all of that? I mean, you're among greatness.
Well, I mean,
I feel like we're among greatness.
it is really cool to grow up around guys and just see them achieve what they want to achieve. And that starts with, the obvious ones, like these guys in here that have moved on and are playing at the highest level. But then I think some things that get overlooked, John Harvey, Drake Fleming,
Right.
both graduated from West Point. That's an incredible achievement. I mean, I could probably find some sort of crazy statistic on how small amount of people can do or have done that. That's just incredible. And I would be hard-pressed to say, but I would bet that the 2010, about those 4 classes right there, and including the 2009 class, we probably have more college graduates in those 4 or 5 years than probably ever in the school's history.
Wow.
That's something I'm also really proud of. I mean, academically, this generation has really excelled, and then obviously athletically, they've been doing the same thing. So just to be able to be a part of that, I mean, that's special. I mean, we won a lot of ball games, which is great, and we even did it at the Pop Warner level. And I don't think me and Dre ever lost a Little League basketball game at the YMCA. I think we were something like 85-0 or something ridiculous like that. But I mean, that just goes to show, though, that when you have the coaches that we had that really invested in us, from being 5 years old on and up, that's really special to be a part of, to see all these people ending up where they should be and where they wanted to be. I mean, for me, that's why I'm really excited to be a part of it. And then there's so many more great things to come.
How was it playing? And we have not really discussed this because he's not sitting here, your dad, Vance Belew, who's a part of our show, who's working baseball tonight. He's doing one of those teacher things that he has to do.
It's a busy man.
He is a very busy man, but he is a vital part of our show. How was it playing for Coach Belew?
Well,
did he put any more undue pressure on you to perform a certain way?
I wouldn't say performance-wise. He knew me better than anybody else knew me. So he was always quick to be on me if I wasn't living up to the standard that he set for me, and he knew the way I could play and the way I could act. But my favorite thing to say about him, now this was talked about I think after my last home game, this was after the Franklin County game my senior year, we had, your show in the morning on Saturday. And you asked that question to me, and then you asked him the same thing about me and Bryant. And I loved his answer, because the big stereotype about dads and or a coach that's a dad of a kid on the team, they'll say you got to be a coach when it's football time, and then you got to be a dad when it's dad time. And he said, like, that's ridiculous. Like, you want me to be on the field and look at my son and say that's just a player, and he's supposed to look at me and say that I'm just a coach? Like, there's no way. That's my son 100% of the time. And that was always real special to me. I mean, because then it's not I just have a coach. Like, my dad is on the field with me. That was really special that he viewed it that way. And then, in 2009, after we won the semifinals, he brought me and Bryant together after the game, and he was just saying, how proud he was that the most successful team up to that point was the only year me and him were on the same team together. So that was really special. I honestly can't think, and I know we're on live TV and I'm acting like I'm being nice, but I honestly can't think of anything negative between that relationship with my dad and him being a coach. It was really, really special. Most importantly, it was really, really fun. Really fun. I mean, I'd go back in a heartbeat, and I wish I could coach with him. That's something that I hate that, can't happen at this point. That would be a dream. But he's the reason why I'm a coach. So if that says anything, people look up to NFL players, and that's great. You should. But I've always looked up to my dad. Being a high school football coach is the NFL to me, and that's because of who my dad was. So, I mean, they're doing their dream, and I get to do my dream too, and because of my dad. So
I hate to say it, I think he's kind of biting at the bit to want to get back into coaching.
Well, he needs to. He's too young.
Well, the one thing that we always appreciate about Vance is that Vance is very honest. He's very upfront. He's very patient.
Yeah.
He's the most patient man I've ever seen. He's also a ghost, because he would appear in one part of Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
Man, he could teleport. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, man. And then in the next 2 minutes, he's somewhere else in Lindsey Nelson
That's
Stadium.
why I could never get away with nothing growing up. It just pop up out of nowhere.
But he was so calm on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, and people really, and Dre, just like his.
Yeah.
He'd be there, but I could watch him chew out an official and make his point. And it was just like, he was having a conversation with
Yeah.
somebody, and he didn't showboat. He didn't show anybody up. He always would do that. And I remember one time Will come home and he was kind of acting funny. It was his senior year. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Coach Belew yelled at us today." He said, "It scared me."
Oh, I know, because he don't yell much, but when he does, I mean, it
Of course, at that
lights a
time,
fire in your soul.
Will's 6'4",
Yeah.
235 pounds, and it scared me.
Oh yeah, and I think that's a good testament too, because, you know, he had years when he was 2-8, 3-7, and won a state championship. But he was the same man when he was 2-8 and when he was 13-2.
There was no difference in the way he coached when we were coming through, but we knew what we were up against because of where we were. You know, when we were playing 6A ball,
Oh man.
we knew what we knew what we were against.
Right.
Yeah, look at Dre over there going, "Oh no." That was tough.
was
Those
rough.
were tough
It
years.
was rough.
I used to
Like
be there
playing
watching.
Brentwood Academy every game.
Oh, look at
Well-
me. Look at that smile.
The Franklin coach pointed out to me, the first thing he said was, "Well, y'all got screwed on your schedule because we ended up, our first 5 games were kind of a mix, but our last 5 games were strictly Williamson County schools, 5 in a row."
Yep.
And he said it was kind of like us being Vanderbilt and having to play Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, you know, just all
Course-
right in a row.
Of course, now Mac Reagan would tell you that Tennessee's a pushover. So
But I tell you though, and that's another thing I admire about him, because in our, especially in 2009, 2010, and 11, I mean, our non-conference games weren't no layups. I mean, we played
No,
No, they wasn't.
Independence. We played Baylor,
Swear they
who
wasn't.
at that point was like number 110 in the nation or something like that. And I think that's big too. You know, he wasn't scared to play anybody. And
But I'm gonna
We
tell
should have
you-
played Brentwood Academy.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you about Chattanooga Baylor. Their facilities down there were horrible.
yeah,
They really were, because you guys didn't even have a dressing room.
They played them the Friday right before we did.
Really.
Yeah.
And how'd you do?
We beat them. We played them at home. I think we played them at home.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have to go down there?
Mm-hmm.
I just hated that place down there.
well, it was built in like 1884 or something like that, and they ain't updated since. Shoot, but some teams are like that though. I mean, when we played Oregon my freshman year, their away locker room was one of the worst that I've ever been in. And I mean, maybe that's some teams thinking that they're getting an advantage that way. But
Hey, I may not be giving out any information I'm not supposed to, but I did hear that Lindsey Nelson Stadium's getting a lighting upgrade to
What?
LEDs.
Wow.
Yeah, and new fencing around the outside.
I need a new fence. I know
Well, they
that.
need new fence.
They need
bad.
the lights more than they do the
Really?
fence.
They do, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good. That's good.
yeah. I think the current lights came over on the Mayflower.
Well, we
raised
do
money
know
to turn
we do
lights
know
up.
that the light standards out
Bulbs.
there, the light standards out there are
Supposed to went to Japan.
prior to World War II, but they didn't send it when
Well,
Germany
hey, we
attacked
got to
Pearl Harbor.
change that switch on the away side, too.
Yeah,
We're gonna
how
make
many
sure that-
how many games we how many times we
Hey,
went through that?
we're 2-0 when the lights went out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're 2-0
I
when the
think
lights
they was
were
just
out.
trying to cut off the speaker box over there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what they was trying to
Thinking
do.
they're trying to turn
They
off
got
Dan.
tired of hearing Dan.
Hey, and it was it was one of Marbut's officials.
Yeah.
One night
Yeah.
after Jamboree, Coach Belew, Coach Miser, and myself stood up there trying to get the lights to cut off
Mm-hmm.
because the switch wasn't right. They had told us from the park to get a hammer, hit on the side of the standard, and flip the switch.
Yep.
We stood up there for 30 minutes, hitting on the side of it, flipping the switch, couldn't get it to go.
Supposedly, the new LED lighting will be one button.
That's how it needs to be.
I don't believe
One
it.
button. That's what they say. I'm just passing along what I was told.
That'd be good, though. Definitely, and it's a deserved upgrade.
Would be.
Sure.
Now, your dad played football.
At Spring Hill.
Yep.
And he was Mr. Football 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The GOAT. That's the GOAT right there. That's GOAT.
Known as Papa.
Was that something you felt like you needed to live up to?
I mean, growing up, nah, not really. I mean, I was always my own myself, really. But I mean, I always heard about him growing up. Your dad was this and that. Blah, blah,
Did he
blah.
ever show you film?
I've never seen film, but I've seen like a lot of articles and stuff like that. But I mean,
Shoot, I even have film on his dad.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
And he
looking
went
at
on
it-
to, Mississippi State?
Yeah, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I kind of lived up to it right now, but I didn't really, growing up, I didn't really like, I don't want to be like my dad. Only thing I wanted to be like him was just going to Mississippi State, because I mean, it was my dream school. But other than that, I mean, it is what it is.
But all these records you've set at Murray.
I mean, he told me not. I mean, I was kind of discouraged a little bit coming out of high school because I feel like I could have played anywhere else. But I got the opportunity to play college football for free, get a free education, and take advantage of that. I mean, it was a blessing to do that. I mean, he told me just, man, don't stress it. I mean, they'll find you, no doubt. I mean, and that's what happened. I just wrote it out. I was gonna leave Murray my sophomore year and go to Tennessee, but the only reason I didn't do that because I didn't want to sit out a year. I mean, but it all worked out in my favor.
Did you hear what he said? He's going to Tennessee.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
We could have used it.
With the brick by brick falling.
Yeah. Definitely could have used it.
And now Dre's got a younger brother, Jalen. Now, wait a minute. Now, hang on. How did Jalen feel about you getting the call?
I ain't tell him either. He texted me. He was like, dude, you can't tell your brother? I was like, man, I just got up.
He said, well, if I couldn't tell my mother, I couldn't tell my brother.
And he was just like, I'm proud of you, man. He was like, I'm proud of you and Montre. He's like, y'all just go up there and kill it. And that was really crazy coming from him.
Yeah.
Like, cause he don't never say nothing like that. It was real, cause he's just a funny person, and it's never, no positive words have ever came from him my whole football career.
Too busy
Really?
being funny.
Yes.
Well,
Never.
It's
From
that
high school
brother
on.
thing, man. I'll tell you from
Yeah.
experience.
I guess you just gotta have a brother like that, though. So,
Yeah, but see, you got the Belew brothers. One's got a state championship ring, one doesn't.
yeah, see,
Does that come up at Thanksgiving?
Did you say Bryant doesn't have a state championship ring? Is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
That Bryant doesn't have a state championship ring either?
Yes, that's what we're saying.
That's what you said?
Yeah, Bryant does
I
not
just
have
want
one.
to go on record and say that Bryant does not have a state championship ring either.
me and Jalen talk about it too, though, cause he ain't got one. I'll be like, and then he was like, I'll be like, what you try to do? You try to get one less number than me? Cause I was wearing 10 at UNA and he was wearing 9. But he told me, he was like, they wanted to give me 5, but I ain't want it. He said, I don't want to be like you. I was like, all right.
Like, I understand that, though, because people ask me if I want to be 88, and I said no.
Yeah, he was like, no, I don't want it.
Man, there's some sibling rivalry here. I love this. This is great.
He bigger than me, though. I give him that.
Yeah, he is.
He got me beat
Yeah.
by a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot.
He's got a lot of talent, too.
Yeah. He just don't care. He funny. He a funny person.
He needs to apply himself more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We trying to get him to run track right now every time. No, I'm a thrower. I'm not running. As he said, I'm not running. I'm
Well,
a thrower.
they do have shot put in
Yeah, see,
track.
he did that. They
javelin.
did. They had a track meet. They first track meet, and he came first time he ever did it. First year, he came in 4th. I think the highest person threw like a 44, and he threw a 38 first time. He only practiced it one day.
Really?
And threw a 38.
Wow.
Jeez.
Like, I was like, you not know how you could throw it 42 easy. Like, you never practiced this at all. He was like, just trying to have fun, just throwing. That's just his attitude though. Like, he's just that funny person.
Chill, brother.
He's just that funny person in the family.
All right, let me ask you this serious question: what drives you?
Probably my family that's passed away, honestly, because Willie Watt over the gym at Whitthorne, that's my uncle. Nobody probably knows that, but he was the first person that actually ever put a football in my hand. Like, I lived with my grandmama and my granddaddy. My mom and them was at Memphis at a job, and I really was finna just start playing, and he was like, well, go play with your cousins at Pop Warner, play flag. He put the football in my hand, and I feel like he started it off. And I always give back to him every time I write a little post about my family and everything. He's either he's first or my great grandmama's first. So both of them, they play like a real big part in my life. I feel like they just drive me, and I just know like what I want to do. I want to be the first one out of my family to succeed in the NFL too.
Man, that's so cool. That is just way cool. D, what drives you?
My granddaddy that passed away when I was younger playing football. I mean, I always been doing it for him. And then, like, really, where took me past the limit, really my junior year, when my dad had cancer. I mean, I almost lost my dad. He fought it out, beat it. I mean, he still made, like, he doing treatment and stuff. He's still coming to my games in the cold and stuff like that. I mean, it's just, I mean, it really hit me hard. I mean, it's just a lot of people lose family members every day from cancer, and just knowing that my dad literally could have been gone as a young man. I mean, it just drives me, and then just my passion for the game. That's really it. I mean, God gave me the ability. I'm just gonna do what he do it for myself, and just do what he gave me to do. Me to do. I need some water.
Well, you can step right in there and get some ice water if you'd like to. It'll be fine. Not a problem. You guys are going to step onto the big field. How's that going to feel when you get out there?
I'll probably have a little jitters at first, but once I catch that first pass, everything is just gone.
Because, Shaq said, away. He said on this show, he said he didn't really realize about the Super Bowl until he stepped out on that field. And he was like, whoa, this is for real right here, And then, of course, walks away with a championship ring. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Almost got a second one.
Yeah. But things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
Well, I think what I hope both of you guys, when you do get there, I know you're going to have butterflies, but realize that you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I know, people say first round or the last undrafted free agent called, you're there because you deserve to be there. And I think that's something you need to wear, heavy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And remember of all the people behind you that are supporting you. And that includes everybody in this room. And we're so proud of you guys, man. I mean, I just when Dre said, well, we'll have D on today, D Wade on today, I said, cool. I said, that's bonus. I said, that's great. I said, two potential NFL players right here on the show, and then we've had Shaq on. And I mean, not everybody gets the experience that we've had in here of having that kind of talent. And the thing about it is, you guys are nice guys. That's one of the reasons that we like having people like you on, because you're nice guys. And you're not cocky. You're confident. There's a difference.
Yes, sir.
Big difference between cocky and confident. And explain to me one time, cocky is saying you can do it. Confident is doing it.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. And I know that you two guys
can do it.
Absolutely. You can do it. No doubt in my mind. But Ty, give us a little update from the Hill. Have you heard anything from up there at UT? Of course, I know that Eric's an Alabama fan. Eddie's a UT fan. Dre?
Oregon all day.
Oh, okay. Oregon?
Just
Yeah.
because of jerseys,
Okay.
I swear. That's what.
What about it,
Am I wrong?
No.
I don't really have I don't really keep up with a college team like that, really.
No, okay.
So
All right. That's all
I
right.
really stopped
That's okay.
caring about Oregon, though, when I got to UNA because they really went downhill.
Yeah, that's right. UNA fans.
Yeah, UNA, though, for sure.
Okay.
See what they do on this D1 stage next year.
All right. Cool. But anyway, Ty? What do you hear from the Hill?
Well, I don't
Anything?
have the name, but the boss picked up a Morris four-star tackle today. Offensive lineman. Eddie, you know who it is? I'm not
No,
sure.
I haven't even seen the news today on any of that. So, but I know
Coach Pruitt wasn't too happy.
he wasn't too
with the
happy at the spring game.
attendance and the players.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm kind of like Maurice on that deal about the attendance and how he called the fans out. You know, first, you know, you got to realize that respect is earned first. You know, you show us that things are going to be different.
You think he went a
And
little too far on that?
I think he went a little too far on that to start out with. I mean, they've never fielded on
I don't think Alabama was full at that scrimmage game.
See it.
I don't know. I saw Butch on the sidelines of the Crimson
The recruit.
team.
I talked to him 2 weekends ago at their clinic.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. He's not too down.
Well, would you? I mean, with the buyout package of these guys.
That's what I was about to say.
He got his
I
money.
mean, it's not too bad. $100,000 a year from Alabama plus the millions he's getting from UT. That's not too bad.
He's got a really good setup.
Oh, yeah.
He's like an offensive analyst, but he can't legally coach because you can only have in college level 12 coaches coaching on the field. But what he gets to do is watch everything on the field, and then he kind of gets to coach the offensive coaches and giving them, tips and stuff. I think that's a pretty cool. That's a
So
pretty cool gig.
he's a coach's coach.
Yeah, I think that's
He's coaching
that's a
the
really
coaches.
good setup. Yeah. So I mean, he still kind of gets this head role, and he doesn't lose that experience. And I know he didn't do well at Tennessee, but I've talked to him through recruiting in high school, and I've always had a lot of respect for him. And then actually getting to meet him in person and talk to him the other weekend at the Bama clinic I got a lot of respect for the guy.
Without naming names, and because I don't want to put either of you want guys on the spot, offensive or defensive coach, which was your favorite, or did you have a favorite, and which school did you enjoy that coach at?
I would say offensive, and say in high school, Broward Academy.
Okay, Dre.
Mine would be offensive.
Steady.
Yeah. Well, two coaches, honestly. I want to say my coach at UNA. And then, honestly, I'm going to say this name. I don't know if nobody ever would think this, but John Moore, man, like, he was a good coach. And me and my friends were talking about that the other day. We was like,
Very intelligent.
he knew how to coach offense. Might not know nothing about defense, but he knew how to coach offense, though. And he knew how to use his players to win games. And it showed when we played in high school.
I'd be hard. I mean, there's very few coaches at the high school level that know are as intelligent offensively as he is. I mean, given his dad is probably the most decorated wing T coach in high school football history,
Really?
probably.
Man,
Yeah,
where
Herschel
was
Moore. He coached in Nashville, and his wing T system is the foundation for all wing T systems pretty much across the state. Coach Sharp learned under him, who's a Hall of Famer. There's a guy down in Dublin, Georgia, Roger Holmes, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame in Georgia, learned under Herschel Moore.
Wow.
And John's brother is Tom, is at school slipping my mind. He's a really good football coach, and I mean
He was at Warren County.
yeah, that's right. And I just go, Coach Moore, he knows his stuff. He does.
Yeah, he ain't take nothing from nobody either. I don't care who he was. He the best player on the team.
It was rather difficult trying to do the play-by-play and
You could hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how how he
yeah.
was at practice though. Like he would be into it.
He was colorful.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
language was colorful.
That's putting it
Thank you.
mildly.
He used to.
That man set a standard though, and he
Yeah.
didn't let anything slide underneath it, which I admire.
The only time I questioned him on play calling was the 2009 state championship. The plays that he called just before halftime.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only time I questioned him. I mean, you know, it was a tight game at that point, and then they picked it off, and the rest is history. So, you know, but
It's a tough
It is
job.
what it is. Well,
Yeah, though,
tough job.
he was a good coach though.
yeah,
That's one thing I
if
can say.
everything works, you know, you're great. Except you go to a GOAT all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's true. And that doesn't stand for greatest of all time.
No.
Not in that particular case.
No.
All right, so you're heading off to Atlanta. When will you leave for Atlanta?
May 26th, the day before Memorial Day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Be 27.
All you guys are leaving town, man. You're just leaving us here with nobody.
You know we'll all be back.
Well, Ty's going to be here. He's our fire chief, so he's got to stay. Chip's got to stay. 'Cause
You know, Good Time Charlie got the blues, man. But no,
I'll be gone 2 weeks in May. So
are you going to be gone again?
taking vacation.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm proud of these two young men
Absolutely.
down here.
Absolutely.
You know, like I said, Orlando's walking around proud as a peacock, and he told Corey today, "I'm against you this year, brother."
Well, I can honestly say these are two class acts we have here.
Yes, it is.
And,
Yes, it is.
And we appreciate your hard work.
Good luck to y'all.
Thank you.
Go get it. Don't let anything take it from you. Go get it.
Yes, sir.
Whatever it takes. Absolutely, whatever it takes. Well, guys, that's it for the All the Ball Sports Show for this spring season. We will be back sometime in September, and we'll cover college football. We'll cover high school football and everything in between. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All righty. So for D. Wade and for
Dre Hall.
I was going to let somebody guess. Dre Hall and for the fire chief.
And Maurice, he didn't show up.
No, he did not. I don't know
we'll
where he
check
was. He
on
may have
him.
been covering a game tonight, but that's okay. We'll get Maurice on in the fall. And for Eric Belew, Chip Matlock, Eddie Bobo.
See you in September.
Yes, sir. We will see you in September. Everybody have a good evening.